Even though it's a bit old right now, I kind of like to talk about the Marvel-Sony movie deal. Yes, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is finally going to get to play with its Spider-Man. Wait, that didn't sound right. Can we edit that? Start over? The Marvel Cinematic Universe is finally going to have Spider-Man available to be in one of its feature films. In what is probably a fairly groundbreaking deal, Marvel and Sony have come to an agreement that allows Marvel to use Spider-Man in its films while Sony retains its rights. So, Marvel can use Spider-Man and presumably any other character in the Spider-Man universe within its films, while Sony goes off and creates Spider-Man feature films. Now, I don't know much about the movie industry, but I would think a deal like this is fairly unprecedented and would probably involve enormous amounts of money. Hey, Sony, here's a wheelbarrow full of cash. We got this out of the couch cushions that is Guardians of the Galaxy. Can we use Spidey now? Sure! Well, according to Variety.com, that is not the case. Marvel Studios isn't paying Sony for the rights to use Spider-Man, nor will it get a box office cut of any of the feature Spider-Man movies. Also, Sony won't get any money out of Disney, Marvel's parent company, from any of the Marvel movies that have Spider-Man in it. Now, there could be some milestone awards where a Marvel movie that does have Spider-Man in it makes a gazillion dollars at the box office. Perhaps Sony gets a cut of that. I don't know. Those type of details aren't available. Or at least available to me. The bottom line is that Marvel gets to use Spider-Man and Sony gets a much-needed fire lit under what is really a lackluster history with the Spider-Man films. I mean, let's face it, Sony doesn't know what to do with Spider-Man. They had some big success with the first two Spider-Man films featuring Tobey Maguire, but then Spider-Man 3 came along and it all just fell apart. I mean, seriously, Spider-Man 3 is probably one of the worst superhero movies ever. Thus, they did a quick reboot with The Amazing Spider-Man featuring Andrew Garfield, and you know what? I liked the first one, but again, they kind of fell apart with the second. There was just too much going on. You had the Rhino, you had Electro, you had Harry Osborn, you had the relationship between Peter and Harry Osborn, you had the Green Goblin, and don't even get me started on what made him the Green Goblin. Some sort of disease? Who? What?
Harry, it's me, Norman Osborn, your father. I'm sick.
Yeah, Dad, I can see that. You got really horrific looking nails, and I don't know what that green stuff is on your skin.
It's the goblin disease, goblinitis, and it's hereditary.
Wait, hereditary? Do you mean I'm gonna get it?
Yes, probably in the next 5 minutes or so, even.
And on top of all that, they tried to squeeze in what is probably the biggest story in Spider-Man history, the death of Gwen Stacy. Now, why they didn't just use Amazing Spider-Man 2 to introduce all these villains, the Rhino, Electro, the Green Goblin, and set that all up, and then make the death of Gwen Stacy the feature of Spider-Man 3. I think if they had done that, Sony wouldn't be in the position they are right now where they need Marvel to kind of bail them out. But now Marvel gets to use Spider-Man, and it looks like the first appearance we're going to see of him is in Captain America Civil War. Now, in the comics, the Civil War is based on the Superhero Registration Act, where if you are a superhero, you need to register with the government, and that includes revealing your secret identity. But the problem in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that the concept of a secret identity is unknown. Everyone knows that Tony Stark is Iron Man. Everyone knows that Steve Rogers is Captain America. There really isn't a hero that has a secret identity per se. So Marvel needed a superhero whose identity was a secret, and originally, rumor had it that the Black Panther was going to fill that role. But it was Spider-Man who ended up revealing his secret identity in the comic book version of the Civil War, so it makes sense to have Spider-Man in the movie version. I'm sure the Panther will still be in there. I mean, he does have a movie coming out, although it was moved back a couple months with this new development. You know what? However they handle it in Marvel, I trust. I mean, they've been batting 1,000 as far as I'm concerned when it comes to their movies, and having Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe is probably just going to be a win-win. It's a win for Marvel, it's a win for Sony, and certainly a win for us, the viewers. But what I'm curious about is how soon we will see the web slinger in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How many times can I say Marvel Cinematic Universe in one segment? I mean, Captain America Civil War doesn't come out until May 6, 2016. That's over a year before we see Spider-Man. I don't think Marvel's going to wait that long. Before that, however, we do have Avengers Age of Ultron coming out on May 1st, 2015, and then Ant-Man coming out on July 17th, 2015. I'm betting we see an end-credit scene that Marvel is so famous for that shows us some glimpse of the webhead. So Marvel is known for building this wide tapestry that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe by making comments within the films or the end credits or whatever type of references they can make, so I just don't see them waiting until Civil War comes out. But whenever, wherever, or however we see Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm happy to see it, and cheers to Sony and Marvel for making this deal come true. Now, Fox, maybe we could start talking about Fantastic Four and a similar deal.